here it is for you guys. Enjoy.
Welcome to the Thunder. I am Shooter, and we've got Thomas Schooley, and we are almost at the beginning of hockey season. It is October 6th, only 4 days away from opening night. Thomas Schooley, we've got a action-packed show tonight. We're going to have Sonya join us here shortly. And we've got plenty of things to talk about. Even since our last episode, there's been quite a bit of news to talk about. But I think the highlight of this show is going to be the season predictions. And if you remember properly, Thomas, who really cleaned house in the season predictions last season?
It was you.
I was going to refresh your memory. But yeah, we're gonna do it all tonight. And we've got some giveaways. If you might have saw a post earlier. We have partnered up with Highlight. And check this one out, Thomas Schooley. Did you even know this existed? They have a peach white oak Highlight. There's several different types of Highlight. You know how I know that? Because I have a mixed pack of Highlight. And this one is delicious. But we have a $25 gift certificate to give out to Cigar City. I want to make sure everyone's clear on this. It is for the Spruce Tap Room. It is not the one at the arena. So you have to use it over at Spruce. In the way that you will enter that, I'm going to say this several times throughout the broadcast. So sorry if you're already here and you hear this many times. It is going to be to add a comment to your chat. So you can just chat. You can just add hashtag game1 to your comment. You can just comment hashtag game1 if you want, but as long as you add that to your comment, you will get into the drawing, which we will do towards the end of the show. And we got a $25 gift certificate for you and more to come. Actually, for next week's show, which we will start doing shows on Wednesday night next week. So the day after opening night, we will be live. We'll talk a little bit more about some watch parties that will be happening at the brewery on Spruce Street. But Thomas Schooley, tell me, how the heck are you? How's your summer going? Are you ready for some hockey?
Oh, I have been ready. And thank you to the Rays for moving aside just in time for the Lightning to do our hashtag game one today. Because it is going to be exciting downtown on Tuesday. Probably one of the biggest events they've ever thrown on down there.
Yeah, they're blocking the street off.
Yeah, they're closing down Water Street. And it's weird. 2-time Stanley Cup champions, raised banners. 3-time Stanley Cup champions, but 2 in the last couple of years. And we've raised banners. We've done all kinds of things, but never have they shut down Water Street and brought in a Grammy Award winner, big boy coming in, and had so much planned. There's only 3 games that night. So it will be the first game of the NHL's season, sent nationally televised ESPN. So there's the map. You obviously see they are closing it down. They have the 2 barricades up there. They're going to have the blue carpet. I think we're going to go down everything. But yeah, that's going to be $20,000 in prizes they're going to be giving out. And they have a special pickup area over there.
Pick up for your prizes?
Yes. If you see right there next to where it says Emily, it says it's the prize pickup area.
Now, do we have any idea how they're going to give away these prizes yet?
No, it says through the app. So if you don't have the Lightning app, it's not the NHL app anymore, guys. It is the Tampa Bay Lightning app. There's 2 different apps out there. You must have the Tampa Bay Lightning app. Do not try to use the NHL app and try to get into these prizes. Or maybe you should. That gives me a better chance.
Maybe they should give people a $25 gift certificate to Cigar City. They download that app. I'm like an anti-app guy. I like to not download apps as much as I could possibly resist. So I still don't have the Lightning app.
Listen, if you have season tickets, you're kind of forced to, because that's where we get our tickets at. It's the app. That's where our discount is. That's where everything is. So
all on the app. All right,
yeah.
so if you joined us, remember #game1 on your comment to enter the drawing here. So far, there's only one person in it, and that looks like it's Kevin Williams there. Nice job, Kevin. I like how, Thomas, we both have cardboard cutouts in our background. Yours is a little bit more appropriate, being a Lightning player and Lightning bug. Mine is Benjamin Franklin, which, if you think about it, he's a Lightning fan, right? Because he did that experiment with the kite and it got hit by lightning. So you naturally Lightning fan, right?
Right. Hey, you guys, make sure you spell out the number 1, not use the number 1.
Yeah, you got to spell it out like I have it in the comment here. Game 1 spelled out. We make it difficult for you guys. And the exciting thing about our friends at Cigar City is we're going to have some more stuff to give away throughout the entire season. And if you see me, or actually how it's going to work is if I see you at a Lightning game sporting a highlight in your hand, I might just come up to you and give you a little something. And it's not going to be a kiss on the cheek, Thomas Schooley.
That's like everybody's going to get their highlights right now.
So that's going to be fun. Unfortunately, I won't be there for opening night. But I'll be plenty of games this season, and looking forward to everything kind of getting started here. All right, so no Eric, no kiss for you, but you might like what I do have for you if you do have that highlight in your hand. All right, so we do have Sonya coming on the show tonight. She's actually going to participate in the season predictions. Before she jumps on, because I don't want to make Sonya sad. Let's talk about Steven Stamkos and the comments he made at the press day, which essentially were something like, it's kind of puzzling why I haven't been offered a contract from the Lightning yet. If you don't know, Steven Stamkos is supposed to be a free agent, unrestricted free agent, again, at the end of this offseason. So this is kind of like a replay of what was that, 2015? Where we kind of went through the same thing. And this is going to be that topic that we talk about all season long. We have one every year. We have one topic we talk about all season long, and it's Stamkos watch again.
Yeah, the last show of the season, the hashtag will be sign Steven Stamkos.
Yeah, that's really what it should be all season. Yeah. So what do you think of that whole situation? So, you saw JBB come out and say that, they haven't offered him a contract.
This is normal with the Bolts. It's always been like that. Same thing.
We extended 3 guys earlier this offseason. Or that was last offseason. This offseason we did Perbix, we did Radish.
Right. But
this season.
It's the same thing that did with Cooch. Cooch didn't play in the first couple games because he wasn't signed. Same thing last time with Stamkos. For some reason, I have a feeling they were waiting to see what that number was going to be for the next year's salary cap. The commissioner just came out. I think he said it's going to go up like, I think 2.5 million is what he had said at the meetings the other day. So I think they get him signed. I'm hoping before the end of the season. But JBB seemed like he was stuck on his guns. So it's going to be interesting. I don't see how they let him walk. They can't let him walk. They got to allow somebody to play their whole career with the Tampa Bay Lightning. They have yet to have that.
Well, 1,003 games, over 1,000 points. We saw all the milestones that he hit last year and had a pretty good season when you have 84 points in the NHL. that's still good. And 33 is not really that old. It's not like he's in horrible shape, and he's been, knock on wood, healthy for the last several seasons as well. I guess last 2 seasons. And then don't forget, he scored over 100 points. Not last season, but the season before. So did he slow down a little bit last season? Yes. I think the problem is, and I saw the comment here from Orozco, 3 years, 6.5. That, I mean, it's going to be a tough pill for Stamkos to swallow, considering he took that contract, that extension at 8.5. And I don't know if you've heard of inflation, but it's been a real bitch lately. And Stamkos, he's got to pay his bills too. So we'll see how badly he wants to stay here, because I'm sure he will at some point get offered a contract, and they'll negotiate. But there's a lot of things going against the Bolts here. They're still going to be up against the cap crunch. I mean, we talked about Killer this past year. Is it Stamkos this year? Is he the killer this year?
No, and you got to think Hedman's got one more year. I think maybe they sign them together. Maybe 3 years for Stammer, 2 for Hetty. Try to where they both get to end their career together. The state tax thing, I see this all the time posted. Players pay taxes for the arenas that they play in. So yes, 41 times we do not have the state tax, and he doesn't have to pay that. The other 41 times, depending on where he's playing, they have to pay taxes for that state. So sometimes it doesn't, as much as other analysts try to say, well, this much money here would be this much money here. You got to remember, they still have to pay the taxes on the visiting arenas that they stay at.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, they still save by living in Florida or some of these other tax-free states.
And don't think the Panthers wouldn't take them in a heartbeat to sit, and that would be Florida too.
Yeah, and by Stamkos's words, he sounded and looked upset that he hadn't had any negotiations yet or even been offered a contract. So obviously, it seems like he wants to stay here, but given the opportunity to go up to Toronto, and he's not getting a decent contract here.
I don't think he'll do that. You don't want to be a Tavares 2.0. He's not going to want to follow that after seeing what Jonathan Tavares did, leaving the Islanders to go there and hasn't really shown up. And they basically have been lynching him up there. Like it's not good for him up there. So, I don't think Stamkos goes there.
Well, maybe he'll go to Anaheim. By the way, I don't know if you saw, and well, actually, I do know you probably did see, Alex Killorn injured. Going to be out several weeks to start the season, so his debut with the Ducks will have to wait. And we've also got an injury here. I want to wait till Sonya gets on here to talk about the goaltender situation. I do want to get your opinion on some of these preseason games. Did you catch most of them?
Yes. Sorry, I'm texting with Sonya right now.
Was there anyone that really kind of stood out to you?
How can you not say the goalie, our number one goalie right now for the next 6 to 8 weeks? 2 shutouts. Yeah.
2 starts, 2 shutouts. That's
a
little bit better about losing Vasi for, what is it, 2 months, right? 8 to 10 weeks, back surgery. If you don't know, and I think most people that listen to this show already know by now because it's a couple days old, he had that back surgery, and the reports were, at least from the Lightning insider that I saw, was that injury really didn't start to creep up on him until August. So I saw a lot of people commenting and asking why he didn't get the surgery done sooner. And because he didn't need it.
Yeah, they're saying at the end of the season that it was bothering him a little bit, but he was taking the shots and the shots seemed to be fine. And then he hurt it the first day of practice. And then they realized the shots wasn't going to solve the issue for the season. So they went ahead and did it now rather than later on during the season.
Yeah. And, obviously off season, like deep in the off season, especially after this long off season, would have been the best time to do that. But that's not possible because he didn't have the injury. So this is the second best time that you could have an injury at the very beginning of the season. Really, they just got to play 500 hockey till he can come back. And I think they can. I really think that, sometimes what you see with teams, and this goes across all sports, is when you lose one of your star players, people think they really have to step up. Even other star players, because they know that player is out, so they have to pick up the slack. Look at the times that Stamkos has missed, extended time in the past. It's the Stanley Cup run in 2020. He played 3 minutes in that game, right? In one game. So I'm hoping what we see is the team really kind of step up and rally for these other kind of unproven goalies, and we'll talk a little bit about them as well. But I think we might be surprised at the effect that happens. Now, based on some of the performances, some of them in the offseason, talking about last night's third period against Florida as one of those sequences, it seemed like defense might be a problem. And it's really team defense. It's not just the defenders on the team, but everyone's got to play defense. So hopefully they take that mentality and they're able to play a little bit tougher for these goalies that really haven't been there before. JJ, as Coop calls him, he's really only had, 28 starts in the NHL. But he seems to be getting better. I mean, obviously two starts, 2 shutouts so far in this preseason. I don't know if he's going to get another start.
Both those games, well, I think Coop said he is. I think Coop had already said he was playing 2 of the last 3. And seeing how he didn't play last night, I think he gets the nod on Saturday. And the teams that he's played against, they've played a lot of their starters. So it isn't like they've had our version of the Syracuse Crunch team out there on the ice. They had a lot of their starters for both of the games. Yeah.
What was it? The Hurricanes definitely had a lot of their star power in that game. And then he did the first Panthers game. And by the way, there is one more game that's tomorrow night. It's down in Panthers territory, and that's a 6 p.m. start time. So overall in the preseason, and really I barely, I do watch the preseason games, but I don't really put much weight into them. I'm really just kind of looking for guys that stand out more than anything. I think there's a couple that have really stood out. I don't know if they'll necessarily make the team because there's just not that much room to go around. But, Austin Watson, we didn't really talk about him because I don't think we had a show. Our last show was before he got the tryout.
No.
Was it? Or was it after?
No, we haven't had a show since then.
Yeah, he got the tryout. Does he make the team? I don't know, but he sure stands out. Like he makes himself known out there.
Yeah. And Coop has said there's going to be some very hard cuts to do. And I don't think I want to be in his position because there's going to be some players that will have to clear waivers if the Lightning don't put them on opening night roster. There's going to be some players that I don't know if any of them get picked up. You don't really have any teams that are needing necessarily some potential minor leaguers right now.
What about Morella?
I don't think he stays. Oddly, for some reason, I think ABB gets a nod again. I don't know how many chances more he's going to get. So, and like Stephanie just said, ABB's got to go on waivers if we send them back to the crunch. Do they give him one last try and then just say, here, go on waivers, please, someone take him? So it's going to be a difficult decision for this opening night. Of course, Saturday, right after the game, they'll make the decisions. They'll have to start trimming it down.
Well, here you go. I'll go ahead and share the Lightning Insider's tweet from earlier. That is Eric Erlinson. And don't worry, we will definitely have him on the show a couple times this season. But I think the lines at practice today were pretty telling, right? So if you look at the lines that were rushing at practice, you had Hagel with Point and Kucherov in that top line, Sheary, Cirelli, Stamkos, Asimont, Paul, ABB, Jeannot, Glendening, and Mott. And then you can see the fifth line there is Watson, Fortier, and Morella. So does that mean that that is the line that's kind of on the outside looking in, and ABB is the one that snuck in? Because we know we really only got that last spot, because Mott's going to make it, Glendening's going to make it, Jeannot's going to make it, Asimont's going to make it. It's really that last spot that you see ABB in that's kind of up for grabs. And I think, like you said, a lot of it's going to come down to the waiver wire and who they can move up and down. And, the other thing to keep in mind is they're going to keep, probably one or two of these guys to, not dress and get scratched for games and hopefully work them into the lineup as well. But what do you think? Are these the three guys, Watson, Fortier, and Morella, that are destined for Syracuse or another team?
Well, Fortier, I think he was just invited just because now he's just a pro at these things. I don't think every once in a while they call him up when there's been injuries during the season, but maybe they throw him a bone and put him on that roster for opening night again. But I think maybe they give Watson on that opening night roster and he won't dress. I'm more interested in that Sheary being on the third line and Asimont being on the fourth and Paul being on the fourth. I don't know. It's weird that Sheary gets the nod in front of Jeannot and Asimont.
Well, they have Mikey up with Point and Cooch last night, so yeah. It's the full Cooper blender in full effect right now. And then the defense is a whole different story too. Again, you've kind of got this last line here. Are these the guys that are outside looking in? Because to me, in the games that I watched, these guys were at the bottom of the defenders from what I was watching. So I don't know if you have any opinion on that. And then we gotta move on because we got a very special guest to bring on.
Yeah, I think Bogo. We saw that last year. Same with Fleury. I personally do not like Fleury. I like Bogo over him, and I think they got DeHaan, so they didn't have to worry about Fleury anymore.
Maybe they both stay and get scratched and get worked into the lineup when needed.
Usually just one of them, so it'll be interesting.
Yeah, so let's change gears here. Again, I want to remind everyone, we are giving away Cigar City $25 gift certificate. You do have to add in the chat, #game1 to enter. It's a raffle, and we'll raffle it off at the end. And I want to just remind everyone, that is for the brewery and tap room on Spruce, not the one at the stadium. So make sure that you know that. It actually says it right on there, so you'll know when you get it. But make sure you get entered into the contest tonight. We also have other sponsors. I don't know, somebody's out there's been using SeatGeek code WTTPod. So we appreciate that. What that does is it gives you $20 off your first time using SeatGeek, whether you're going to a Lightning game, a concert, a Rays. Oh, wait, we won't talk about Rays games. Bucks games. It will get you in the door and you get $20 off, and it helps us out. So if you do need tickets to an event, use our code WTTPOD pod. And then we got an awesome opportunity with Monkey Cold Coffee. You might have seen it at the bottom of the screen. You can use my code for 10% off. It's Shooty10. And if you buy before up to opening night, I think he's going to do it all day Tuesday too. He's going to send a free rum cake with it. And Thomas Cooley, tell him about the rum cakes. Tell him about the rum cakes.
The best thing ever. There is
pretty dang good.
It could, a baby's foot could be covered in that rum cake and I'd eat it. I don't care. that rum cake is the best thing ever. There's only one thing in this world better than that rum cake, and it's the guest that's about to join us.
Yes. So how dare we make her wait this long? Let's bring her on. You know her, the voice that you hear before almost every Lightning game. Sonya Bryson-Kirksey returns. How excited
are you guys
for some more hockey?
Am I ready? Yes.
Oh, so wait, this off season, I've seen Sonya everywhere around. She has been seen more places. You know that Where's Waldo? It should have been Where's Sonya in the off season because I've been texting back and forth every now and again because I have to at least say hi to her every once in a while, and she sends me little picture updates and stuff of some things that have been going on in her life and things that she was doing. And then today she went and saw a ship and she's singing at it tomorrow and sang at a Rowdies game during the off season. I mean,
did you guys have hockey too a couple weeks ago, right?
For USF,
Yeah. So that's how you keep busy during a long off season, because we haven't had this type of long off season in a while.
It is. You're right, and it's hard because it's hard for me specifically because I'm so used to singing past a certain time that I usually don't start my summer bookings until like after June because we've been playing so far into the postseason, so. That was hard this year because I spent the whole month of June doing pretty much nothing. I mean, I did my garden. I worked in my garden. I did my crochet. I did the stuff that I wanted to do, stuff that I was waiting to do. So it was fun, that part. But listen, we don't need to do that no more.
I know. I was diagnosed by Miss Shooter as having seasonal depression.
Probably all of us.
So long, and I don't like the warm weather. So I was just moping around this office, walking in circles. I dressed up Benjamin Franklin like Victor Hedman, started talking to him. Yeah, things went downhill fast here.
Yeah. And it's you know what? I don't blame the team at all, because they were worn the crap out. I mean, I was kind of worn out, and I'll just be honest, because we have been playing hockey for about 4 years straight, all the way through the postseason and everything, and I just think they were busted. Look at poor Vasi. Everybody knew Vasi wasn't right. Everybody knew Hedman wasn't right. Everybody knew, a few of the other ones weren't right at the end. And it's because they're tired, man, and their bodies were suffering. So I don't blame them at all, because you can't be on top of the heap, 24/7. You got to make some time to, come down and then go make your ascent again. So I don't blame them.
Yeah, and you can kind of tell from their comments that they wanted to be playing, but they appreciated the rest and actually having some time off to get healthy. And they all mentioned that they're more hungry than ever. And I think with this team, we're gonna get into season predictions, and this is kind of one of the questions, one of the first questions, but I'm pretty confident about this team because you've got, so many players that haven't even won a cup yet. Right. So you've got some hungry players, and then you've got these superstar players that just want to be the best in the world and win as many cups as they can. And to me, it's like this team could be better than last year's team. I know a lot of people are kind of down on losing so many fan favorites during the offseason, but you get a little bit younger, you get a little bit faster, you get a little bit hungry, because guys haven't been there before, and we still have all almost all the star power, all the superstar
And
power.
They have a chip on their shoulder. I mean, come on. Even us fans have a chip on our shoulder now because of losing to the Leafs in the first round. I mean, how long are we going to have to listen to this? Those players have to listen to that. It is a chip on their shoulder. Every single one of those guys that are returning from last year, that is going to be their main goal, is to not let that happen again. And I think they're more laser focused. I think they're going to have more of a chip on their shoulder. You've seen, the news for Killorn was probably a week, and then it kind of died off. And instead it was, here's who we're signing, here's what we're doing, here's who we re-sign longer. They're building the team as a long-term team. And then they didn't even leave. A lot of them didn't even go back home for the off-season, which is unheard of. A lot of times they all come back maybe a week before. I remember back in the old days when you had Coburn and Strawman and stuff like that, there'd be 2 players in Brandon 2 weeks before training camp. And then you would have Valtteri Filppula, even though he didn't play for the team anymore, he would be there at the rink, and he would be there for a couple of days. Then you would get like a Tyler Johnson. No, Tyler was always last because he was busy with the girls. There is always 1 or other 2 players that would come in. And then like the week before training camp, finally you would start seeing them come home. You would see Stammer coming home from Toronto, the Russians coming back from Russia. Yeah, and you would see all that. This year, I have never seen so many stay in town. We saw several of them get married. 1 or 2 possibly had a baby that aren't announcing it. And then there's people that just stayed here and have made Tampa their home, where in the years past they haven't. And they were so excited. You saw pictures of Stamkos, of Kucherov, of all these people on the ice several weeks before training camp. And I think that shows you how much they're focused on this season.
Yeah, I don't think they're looking forward to a first-round exit again.
Yeah,
No. And as far as the Maple Leafs are concerned, if they want to gloat about taking us out in the first round, the only thing I'll do is turn to the side and point to my sleeve, the one that says 67. Because they already think I'm after them anyway. They're like, why do you have 67 on your jersey? I'm like, your mama, I wear 67 because it's the year I was born. I graced the planet at 67. And I just can't stand it when their fans do that to me. I'm like, y'all are so crazy. Why would I do that? She
says that on here, but she's so nice to the opposing fans. I hate it. They're like, can we take a picture with you? And she's like, yes. I'm like, no, they cannot. No.
I do. I don't have a problem with photos, but don't come at me, I'm a bad guy. I'm not. And everybody knows I'm nice, so why would I come at you with, my number that is the year that I was born? That's just crazy. But anyway.
All this time I just thought you were a savage.
No, I'm not a savage. Well, my husband might say something different, but anyway.
Listen, at least they're not Columbus Blue Jackets fans who only bring up the highlight of their franchise, which was beating us in the playoffs.
Yeah, the tweet, right?
Which lit our fire.
It did. They were the reason why we won 2 Stanley Cups.
Yeah, and this Leafs can be the start of the next 2, because these guys are focused this year.
Okay.
Oh, man, I hope so. I hope you're right there. But I want to hear from you, Sonya. We talked a little bit about Bassey, huge injury, not great timing a week before the season starts to be out 8 to 10 weeks. But we've had some guys really step up here in the preseason, and I'm curious kind of what your thoughts are on, Bassey going down for, what could be 2 months, and having some really young goalies step up into that position and play on this team. Did you get a chance to check out some of the goaltending in the preseason games?
I went to the one last night. That's the first and only preseason game that I've seen. I haven't been to any of the practices or anything. I don't know a lot of these guys at all. I mean, literally, if a couple of them walked past me on the street, I wouldn't know who they were. I think I was a little bit down in the dumps about the people that we got rid of. So I kind of refused to learn the new people's names, really. I remember like Watson and somebody else when I was at the game last night, but I'll have to get used to it, and everything. But Vasi is one of those people, you can tell he doesn't really like to miss anything unless it's something important and big. So I feel like it was something big enough that he needed to get it fixed in order to be the best he could possibly be for this season coming up. Now, having said that, the gentleman that was in net last night, I think he was pretty good. I didn't get to see the other preseason games, like the shutout that they had up at in Orlando and everything, but the guy last night was really good. I liked him a lot. I think he has very good tendencies. It's just I think that the Panthers were, I don't know, just a little faster, than us. And granted, we'll get there. It's not a big deal. And that's the other thing about us as Lightning team. We may start slow some seasons, but we don't ever end that way. We're always buzzing, by the end of the season. So I don't worry about them like some people do. They get the off season blues and they start talking about all these little tiny things and running off into the wild blue yonder with all these little secrets and things, and think that that's going to affect our team in the long haul. And I don't think that's the case. I think they're going to be fine. And honestly, the kid that was in net last night, I think he'll be a really good, viable replacement or number 2 for Vasi. And he's not going to be goalie forever, so that's the other thing too. One of these days he's going to be like, I'm done. And really at his career right now, as it stands, he'll be a Hall of Famer. So I think that we have to get our heads out of favorites so much and focus on, team effort, because they're going to always be replacements. They're going to always be people that are going to leave and get traded, and you have to get used to it. I hate it with a passion.
The goalie that played last night, he will start the season as our backup goalie to JJ Johansson.
Okay.
And Johansson will finish, once Vasi comes back, Johansson will go to number 2. And then the guy from last night, he will get sent down.
He'll be a guest on this show.
So that was really his big look last night. Now we are, like we had said a little bit earlier, Coop did say Johansson will get the start tomorrow night. He's 2-0, both with shutouts. So that is who we're going to go with. But I think I counted 4 back-to-back games in the time frame that Vasi's going to be out. So we will be seeing a lot of these 2 combos here, because unless they end up, they tried that Hugo experiment and that didn't go well on game 1, and we never saw him again in the first preseason. So I don't know if they bring Hugo up later on during the middle of waiting for Vasi to come back. But so far, this is going to be the tandem they go with.
I think they're riding with Johansson and Tompkins.
Yeah.
The crazy part about Tompkins is he's never played an NHL game before.
Nope.
So, he's been around. He's about the same age as Vasi, but he played in the Swedish Hockey League last season, and he played all right last season. 2.53 goals against average, 0.911 save percentage. That's not bad, but that's also the Swedish Hockey League. He's playing with the big boys now. And the one thing I noticed about him is he actually did make some really great saves, not just last night, but in the other starts that he had as well. So he's got some potential, and you never know. Like, the good thing about when somebody else has to go, it opens up the door for somebody else. But I do think it's JJ Johansson who's going to be our starting goalie, and he really has a chance to make a name for himself, because he's been in the NHL. He's been up and down, but I don't think he's ever really got this opportunity before.
And he's kind of like the Baker Mayfield of hockey, where he had so much negativity coming onto the team, When the Lightning signed him, if you looked in any of the groups, this was the worst signing of the season. And now it's kind of went down to, well, you know what? He might actually be pretty good. We see Stephanie over here said if he plays well and carries us to 500, she's going to buy his jersey. So go ahead and start getting those letters ready, because I have a feeling, he's gonna have a nice record. I also think the defense is going to step up, knowing that they do not have Vasi behind them. Remember when we saw Moose play last year? They knew it wasn't Vasi there, and the defense tended to be a little bit tighter when Moose played. So I have a feeling that's what we're going to see this season, knowing that Vasi isn't going to be there. And they got to keep their head above water until Vasi returns.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think everyone steps it up a little bit, and that helps the goalies. Like last night in that third period, they weren't helping Tompkins out very much.
No.
They were giving up way too many chances, and they just kind of stopped skating. But
yeah,
I think it's a different story in the regular season. The Stars are going to be out there. They're going to be playing their 20 minutes a game, and we'll see. Like you said, we got to just keep our head above water until Vasi comes back in 8 to 10 weeks, 2 months. Vasi's a freak, so. I think that they think he could come back sooner, but I wouldn't rush him. As long as he's back in December at some point or before the new year, and they're still in good standings, then they're going to have a good chance, because this team knows they just got to get into the big dance and be playing their best hockey at the end of the season, not necessarily now at the beginning of the season. And that's what you're going to see with this team, with almost a full new bottom six. Yeah. And some new guys infused in the top six. They might not gel right away, especially that bottom six. So it's going to be an interesting first couple months of the season without Vasi in the roster.
Poor Paul Porter has to learn all these new names, and a great way to announce them. His Steven Stamkos way and his Kucherov. Now he's going to have to figure out a Dahan, Glendening.
Yeah, all of that. He'll do it great, though. How Paul is. So
I can't wait until opening night when they bring. It's the one time a year every player comes out on the ice and they do them by number, except for Stamkos is always last. There'll be even Vasi will be there. Even when they're in street clothes and their bench, they make that first game and come out there. So it's gonna be great to hear. Here's your starting lineup for your 2023-2024 Bolts.
All right, we got Orozco here. He's got some predictions. Maybe that's a sign that we should move on to give our season predictions. He's saying Mikey Easymont, 40 plus points, almost 50. Dude is going to be in beast mode. I hope so.
I think even Coop compared him to Yanni Gord.
That's a good comparison. Gord, I think Gord is a little bit more natural of a scorer. But maybe Mikey puts some more in the back of the net this season.
Yeah, he said his toughness and his grit and always ready to play reminds him so much of Gord.
You know what I like about him?
What?
He's an American player.
Oh,
we don't have many American players on the team, but we do got Mikey. All right, so Sonya, we on our first show of every season for the last couple years, we have given our predictions for the season. So we want you to play this game with us. No pressure, but last season I really dominated these guys. I almost nailed so many predictions to the number of points and goals that point scored. And it was ridiculous. I'm not going to go through all the stats, but I'll go through a couple. No, we'll just get it started here. And by the way,
it just so happens he's also the scorekeeper. Maybe he didn't win. We don't know.
This is a shared document. This is not edited or doctored in any way. There's no pride. There's no pride.
He knows how to cut these all he knows how to cut film together. He does animations. He made sure he won.
This is a Google Doc. Okay. All right. So let's get started, and I would love to hear the people in the chat. I'd love to hear your opinions on where you're at with this as well. So please play along with us. And also make sure if you didn't already put that hashtag game1, because we will do the drawing after this before we sign off. All right. So let's start here. Rate how you're feeling about this team going into the season on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most confident. And we'll let Sonya start on this one.
Going into the season. So this is not
right now. How are you feeling on 1 to 10?
I think I'm probably at a solid 6 because they have some molding together to do, which is not, it doesn't worry me at all going into the season. The reason is because even at a 6, because I know they're not ready to just go out there and blow people away. It's going to take a few games to do that. But when they start like that, like say at a 6, then usually it doesn't take them but maybe a handful of games till they're at a 9. You know what I mean? So practice, because they know what things they need to fix, right away, and it helps them to get to where they need to be. I don't know. Just because I don't know any of those guys, I'm like, okay, maybe 6 or 7. Not anything higher, really. Not right now.
Okay, that's what I said last season, actually.
Okay.
And we had a healthy goaltender. Mm-hmm. Thomas, what are you thinking?
No, I want to hear yours first.
So I'm actually going higher than last season. I'm going 7, even with Vasi hurt. Okay. I like some of these new guys. I really, really loved Pat Maroon and Corey Perry, and I think you can't replace them in the locker room, but you can replace them on ice with some speed and some hungry younger players. So for me, it's like this team can be a faster team. And they've got some younger, hungry guys. And, some of the guys that they got, like Sheary and Glendening, they're like solid vets, right? Maybe not the good luck charm like, Pat Maroon was. And they call Pat Maroon like a glue guy, right? He's a locker room guy. But you got plenty of those guys on this team that can fill that spot. So I kind of feel good about the team. The biggest concern to me is Vasi being out. And like I said earlier, sometimes when you have one of your best players out, everyone else kind of lifts up around them. So I don't feel that bad going into the season with everything that's happened in the offseason, which, was not all great.
Yeah.
I'm going higher than both of you. I'm an 8. I think they're going to step up. I think we didn't see a full season of Jeannot and Isimont. And so I think them getting, learning their players that last part of the season there, they're going to see a lot of those same familiar faces this year. I think that the hunger in them from the ousting last year, the first round exit last year, I think the knowing that they're going to have to score a lot because of Vasi being out, I think it's going to be a lot of shots on goal. I think they're going to score a lot. They're not going to play this pass thing. They're just going to shoot. And I like the additions that we made in this offseason. To me, I think you're right, Rob. I think they got faster. Say what you will about Maroon and Perry, being what they were in the locker room. They were slow as molasses on the ice. And Maroon took so many unnecessary penalties that, now if those penalties are going to happen, Jeannot's going to take them with them. And I think Hagel's got a breakout year. I think Point's going to be crazy. I think Paul's going to get out there with no killer here. I really like this lineup.
Yeah, and Paul looks like he's going to get some power play time too, which is kind of compelling. He had a beautiful pass to Stammer last night for a goal.
That was beautiful.
Yeah. Let's see what we got in the crowd here tonight. Orozco's going 7.5. The Queen's going 8. Jody's going 8. Serena's going 8. Jody changed it. Someone must have convinced Jody to take off a point here. She's going 7.
Oh, no, 7. Yeah.
Elizabeth is going 7. Kathy's at 7. So I'm actually surprised that you guys are as high as we are on the team, I think. But I read too many Facebook comments, I guess, because a lot of gloom and doom over the last couple of months.
Hey, how do you guys like my name that I typed in there?
Like Sparkle Queen.
Very fitting.
Yeah, if you read the any kind of Facebook group, message board, the Bolts Twitter, anything before preseason, oh my gosh, the season was over with. As soon as they announced Vasi was out, that was it. Season was over. It's done. And then one other thing we didn't touch, Killorn also got injured and is out too. And I know I made this point in Thunderbolts that had we kept him and Killer got injured, we would have been so many complaints saying, well, this is what we get for keeping him. We should have got rid of him. We did get rid of him, and people were like, oh my God, we got rid of him. Now he's out 4 to 6 weeks with a broken finger.
Oh.
Well, there you have it. All right, next question. How many points will Steven Stamkos finish the season with? Just a refresher, I'm going points here, not goals. So last season, 84. The year before, he had over 100. Contract year, he's gonna be an unrestricted free agent at the end of the season. Sometimes that lights a little bit of fire under the players. Thomas, we will start with you because you are a fan of Steven Stamkos. I heard
121.
Ooh, that would be a career high, I believe, wouldn't it?
121. I think he lights it up this year.
I think you're lighting something up, buddy.
Yeah. 121. I think he's going to really get still those sweet power play goals from his office. I think he's going to get quite a few assists from who he has on his lines. They say he's in the best shape that they've ever seen him in. He went a full year last year without really having any serious injuries. A full off season after those two things. He's in contract year. He knows he's towards the end of his career. I think he lights it up.
Sonya, what do you think? You going over 100 here?
I think, I don't know, 80. You said last year was 84, right?
Yeah, 84. The year before, he was over 100 by a couple, I believe.
If he's doing so good health-wise, I don't have a reason not to just root for him. I'll say 100. I'll say 100 and I'll say 105. I'm not going quite.
Don't you prices right me and do one over.
No. I wouldn't.
$1.
I wouldn't do that. $1. No, we're not doing prices right here. Yeah, what about 105? I think because I think that he looks at his stats too, and he says, I got to do better than I did last year. And if he's very, very healthy, and there's no twerks or anything that no issues that are looming, I think he'll do over 100. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 91 just because it feels right. I feel like he's gonna score more than he did last year. It seemed like there were so many opportunities last year where he should have scored and he didn't. Right?
Yeah.
He could have scored easily 10 more goals, maybe 15 more goals. And don't forget, it was last year that he came out of the gates on fire. Like he carried the team on his back that first month of the season. So,
which might happen again.
Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if he does the same thing this season, especially with the big injury in the net. All right, what do we got in the chat? Oh, wait, we got to start with Jessica Hunt. 95.
Okay.
Daniel's going 97. Kathy's got 112. Serena's 92. Carrie's 80. Elizabeth, she's mailing it in over 100. Kathy 104. 108 from the Queen. Roscoe's at 88. Thomas, you are higher than everyone.
Everybody.
By the way,
well, no,
that's his boo.
obviously Tyler Sharp's higher than anybody, meaning drug-wise, because that depends. Yes, I agree. I think they're going to be one of the teams this year. I think they definitely are an upgrade, but they ain't winning it all. Go back to sleep. Dubas ain't going to get you that much.
What'll do?
All right, let's move on. And by the way, if you just got here and you have not entered the raffle for Cigar City gift card, just add in the chat #game1. Spell out the word one. Don't put the number one. All right, which player on Tuesday night's roster will not be on the roster by the end of the season? So what we're going to do for this, because the roster is not locked in yet, is we're going to go with Eric Erlindson's full lines here, which really is going to make it easy because definitely not all these guys are going to be on the roster. So let me pull that up so we can see it again. But if either one of you do have one or a person you do not think is going to be on the roster,
ABB,
shout it out.
Really?
ABB. Yeah. He.
Why?
Because they've given him, this is his third chance now to make this roster. He'll be there on opening night, and then they'll send him back. I was one of the hugest ABB supporters, just like I was Pervex's. ABB has never panned out in the NHL. He's only panned out in the AHL. So I don't think ABB stays for the season.
Sonya, what do you think?
I don't know. Like I said, I know none of these. I haven't watched them play long enough to know, because I've only been to one game, and I didn't watch any of the others. Let's see here. I will say
48.
How about this Dehan guy? Who's he?
No, he's a defenseman that we got in the offseason from Carolina. It seems to be he's going to make that roster, and Fleury and Bogo are going to be the odd mans out.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I will.
You know what? Let's give you a mulligan. Let's say Tompkins for Sonya, that goalie, because once Vassie goes back, Tompkins ain't staying.
He's done, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
All right,
I got it.
I'm gonna say one that not everyone's gonna really love here. I'm gonna say Bogo.
Bogo, yeah.
Oh yeah. He got so many freaking penalties last night. I was like, what is wrong with him?
Yeah, I think his age is really starting to catch up with him. And it was last season too. I mean, I love the guy, but I don't know. I don't know where he's gonna be by the end of the season.
I don't think Bogo, Fleury, Tompkins, ABA, 40A. I don't think any of those are going to be here by the end of the season.
That one kind of stinks because we don't really know the opening night roster yet.
Right.
So we'll move on. Who will be the Bolts' biggest in-division rival? So that means they're in the Atlantic Division. By the way, in the preseason, Ottawa was 6-1. Toronto was 4-1. Detroit was 4-2, and your Tampa Bay Lightning was also 4-2 so far. So those were the top four in the standings. Don't forget, you've also got Florida, Buffalo, Boston, and Montreal in that division. I'll start this one off. I think it's going to be the Toronto Maple Leafs.
I agree. I think we all three said the same thing.
I think it's going to be a lot of get back.
Yep. I think Florida downgraded. I think they went down. It is nice to see that they sent Spencer Knight down to the AHL to spend some time down there to start the season after his issues that he had last year with what is believed to be the substance abuse issues from last year. And so they're starting him in the AHL, but they do think he's going to be back up with the team this year.
All right, so Toronto, clean sweep here. Let's address this question real quick. Thanks for asking. This is a good one. NHL Network was talking about our goalie situation, saying we can't rely on the two that we have while Vasi is out, and saying we need to pick one up. What are your thoughts? My immediate thoughts are that's not really, it's not possible. We'd have to trade one of our forwards with some sort of substantial salary. And I don't think they want to do that because they need all the forwards that they have that are good, that have, decent contracts. So I don't think it's really feasible for them to go out there and make a trade for a goalie right now.
Unless you get someone that will also eat up some of the salary. You would have to really get a third team involved in there, and maybe they'll take a Bogo or a Fleury, which they could be potentially, looking into that, or even a Fortier or an ABB or one of these people that I don't think is in their end of season projections, and see if someone will eat up some of that salary. I saw someone else asked if Martin Jones is out there, if they think we'll get Martin Jones. I don't know that. There has been talk that maybe they've reached back out to Moose again because he never officially put his retirement papers in.
Yeah.
So do they go to the Moose route again? I don't know.
But Moose did have a really good very last game of the season. His 3 starts before that, we were giving up 6 goals a game.
Yep.
I don't know if the Moose is going to be the answer either.
He's too tumultuous. He has no steady. He is up here or he's down here. So.
Well, yeah, and plus he's my age.
Yeah, I was going to say he's old.
If you know anything about me, Sonya, like superstar forward, but when I get in net, that's when things go downhill. The crew loves it when I talk about my hockey playing. So.
Well, you go on with as my mama would say, you go on with your bad self.
All right. The Lightning have not finished in first in the Atlantic in actually a long time at this point. So what place do we think they're going to finish this season? Remember, we got Toronto. I saw in the comments, Florida is going to be a team that we're going to have to butt heads with. You got a young Detroit team on the upswing. Same thing you could say about Buffalo. Boston, maybe on the downswing. What do you guys think? Do the Lightning finish in third place, which is kind of like their spot the last couple of years?
Yeah.
I say
maybe we go to second, maybe.
Yep, second.
Moving on up.
Yeah, because not first, because every time that we have been at the very top, we don't do so well. But when we do second and third, or I don't know, have we done a fourth? I don't think. I think we've been at like second or third usually. In the last 5 years or so. Yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Tom.
No, I say second too, and he said moving on up, and I was about to sing some Jefferson. Beans burn in the kitchen. I was going there with it, but yeah, I think we finished in second. I think it's going to be a surprise who that top team is. I don't think it's going to be Toronto. I don't think it's going to be Florida. I don't think it's going to be Buffalo. I'm kind of on the fence on Detroit or Pittsburgh. I think those two took this off.
They're the Metro, so you don't have to worry about it. Pittsburgh in our division. I'm sticking with third. Third seems to be like that's their nice little cozy spot.
Yeah.
They're like, we're gonna slide right into the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
No one's gonna think about us. They're gonna forget that we won those 2 Stanley Cups a couple years ago. So yeah, third.
They want home ice. They want 2.
All right. Well, we will see. We will review this in April.
So you're writing all this down, right?
Oh yeah, he does. Unfortunately.
I am. All right. How many points will the Bolts reach this season? So last season they had 98. And usually when you're around 100, you're really kind of a top level team. So I'll go first on this one. I'm gonna go. I'm factoring Vasi maybe a little too much here. I'm going to go 92. And you guys don't think too hard about this.
And you're doing 92 because you feel like Vasi's comeback won't be as grand as everybody thinks.
No, I think they're going to start the season a little bit slower than they have in the past. So they're going to be kind of chasing points towards the end of the season. Sure. And in the last several years, they've been right around that 98 to 105 range, I think.
I say 102, same as Stephanie there. 102.
I'll just say 100.
100 and 102. All right, what do we got in the chat here? We got some 96s, some 95s, 97s, 102, 89, 95. By the way, if you're in the chat, I'm not writing down your responses. But you can play along at home, Google Docs. So this is a good one. What game does Vasi return for? Let me help us out. I'll pull up a little schedule here. In fact, why don't we skip to the next one while I look up the schedule here to pull it up? Let's go to which Bolt will win an award this season and what award? This is always a fun one because we never win awards.
I'm going with Coop again for the Jack Adams.
Yeah. He's got to win it. This is his chance.
Yeah. Why hasn't he gotten it so far?
Yeah.
That pisses me off too. Yeah. Okay.
I say Coop's got to win Jack Adams. I wouldn't be surprised if JBB wins GM of the Year also.
Yeah, that would be great because they both deserved it 2 years ago.
Going against a shitty Cap, going against losing Killorn, going against Vasi being out, going against Maroon, Perry. There's so many people leaving, and still, if they finish in that top tier again, you got to give it to Coop.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a pretty good case with everything that's gone against him. Like I think maybe he's actually got a shot. All right, we'll put Cooper for the Adams. Don't you feel like the NHL kind of feels like they owe him one too by now, right?
Yeah. You would think, but you know they've showed that they don't feel like they owe the Lightning anything.
Yeah.
Sonya, what about you? Are you going to stick with Coop?
Yeah, I think Cooper. Yeah, he deserves it if nothing else.
Stephanie says Kucherov, Art Ross. Roscoe says Cooper for Jack Adams. Someone says Hedman for Norris. I don't think Hedman wins the Norris.
No.
I think he's past those days.
What was the one that that Point was up for last year?
Was this Lady Bing?
Lady Bing. Yeah, it was Lady Bing. So that was weird for me because I said, there's not many people on our team that is just like purely they play with sportsmanship all the time. And he is one of the people that I feel like is that way all the time. Because everybody else gets pissed off and does crazy things, right? And they get back. They have the get back game going on. So the fact that he didn't win that, I was so mad with that. I was like, why? Because he's so, so good. But I guess, like you said, they feel like
Pointer is so private. I think he's going to miss out on a lot of things over his career.
You think?
Because of the fact that he is such a private person. I think he's going to either have to get over that, because I really honestly think he could be captain of this team one day. And in that case, when you're captain, you really don't have no more privacy, especially of any kind of NHL team. I mean, Stammer can't go anywhere. And Point's very private. I mean, his wedding was very private. He doesn't really talk about him and Sydney. He doesn't talk about potentially having a baby. He doesn't talk about any of that stuff. He's a very private person. And I think that's where some of the players lose out on some of the awards, because they are not that big up there talking. And you got to pat yourself more on the back in order to get these awards.
Right.
Well, I'm going to pat Mikhail Sergachev on the back because I'm picking him to win the Norris this year. That's right. He's getting paid more than Hetty, and he's ready to step up his game. Had his baby, shaved his head. He was working out all summer. He's ready to play. And
he looks good too. He looks good too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? They really love defenders that score a lot of points, and I think he can be up there and definitely the top, 3 or 5. All right, back to the return of Vassy. So what I did was I went ahead right up. We're in December because they said 2 months. Now you can pick a date before this, so I'll go back to like the end of November here. And if you want me to go back more, I'll go back more or forward. I'll let you guys kind of start. This is a tough one to pick.
Originally, my first thought was going to be November 30th against the Pens, but I've changed that. I actually think it might be, and the reason why I was thinking that one is they're going to be coming back from their Thanksgiving break and stuff like that. But now I'm kind of leaning towards the 21st. What is it, December 21st against the Stanley Cup champion Vegas here at home. I do believe it's going to be at home whenever he does make his debut. I think it's going to be here. But I think that might be it.
Okay. December 21st. Sonya, are you going to go sooner or later?
Vassy is one of those people. He is very dogged in and determined to do what he feels like he needs to do. And I don't know, that might be a good thing. It might be a bad thing. Go down more to the later dates. Yeah. Let's see here. Let me have go back up just a little bit. Can I have the Blues game on the 19th?
December 19th, yeah. That's the home game right before Vegas. And I almost picked that because they're coming back from an away trip there. And I was like, okay, that's going to be the first game back home. And I was like, I don't know. I think it'd be extra special coming out there, your first game of the year against the defending Stanley Cup champions.
Yeah, that would be a cool thing. You're right.
Because that place would go nuts.
Oh, yeah. And to get a shutout? Yes. Yeah. Yes.
All right. Well, I'm going to go almost a full month earlier than Thomas Cooley's prediction. I'm going for the Thanksgiving special, and that is actually the day after Thanksgiving. The Hurricanes in Carolina, Black Friday, Vassy fire sale.
Okay. Sounds promising.
Now we see a lot of things here in the chat. We see 1-2-24 against Winnipeg, 1-6 against Boston, December 4th, December 19th, 1-9-24 versus Kings, December versus the Panthers. I don't know if he comes back through a really physical team. That first team that he's going to come against is going to be probably trying to knock into him a little bit.
You guys are going for January in the chat? You're extending now 3 months? Do you even want Vassy back?
If anybody wants Vassy back, it's Stephanie. So it was surprising to see her do January.
Yeah.
All right. Where was I? Let's go. And we got a couple more here. Who leads the Bolts in scoring this season and who leads the Bolts in goals this season and how many goals does that person score?
Go ahead, Sonya.
I would say
go ahead, Glitter Queen.
I think Point, because Point has been so like you said, he's so quiet, and he hasn't really stood out in the last couple of years. Not like that. So I think it's going to be Point. And I'll say, you said, 50, what was the second part of the question?
Over 50 last year. You had what, 51 or 52? Okay. So does he get to 60? I would love to see that.
I would love to see him at 60 as well. So Yeah, I'll say it's point and 62. Let's make it
62. That would mean a good season, at least for Braden Point.
Tom, I say point 56.
56. I'm going more off hope this season. You know what I'm hoping for?
Who?
I'm hoping to see a lot more Kucherov goals.
Yes.
We know he can dish it. We know he can make some assists, but can he score over 40 goals? I think he's going to. I'm going to put Cooch down for 45 goals. And hopefully I'm right on that. 45 goals, 60 assists. Sounds about right to me.
Okay.
Now, the next one, we're going to go into who leads the Bolts in scoring, which also takes into account your assists. So typically, at least last season, this would have been Kucherov. The year before, it would have been Stamkos with his 100-plus points. This year, I will start it off, and I'm going to go with Cooch. I said he's going to have 45 goals, so he's going to have 60 assists. So he's going to have 100. I don't do math, Thomas Cooley. I was hoping you were doing
it. I don't have my pen.
We'll go 111 points.
For Cooch.
For Cooch.
Cooch. Okay. I will say. So I don't want to say a defenseman because I think Sergachev has it in him.
I wouldn't go defenseman in scoring.
No. I think I'll go Stammer. And the reason why I go Stammer is because I think he'll have more assists this year than last year.
Guess what? You already answered this because you talked about Stamkos scoring. You talked about how many points Stamkos would score, and you said 105.
Right.
So there you go.
I'm also going Stammer because I say 121. And oddly, I think actually Hagel might be in that top three also.
Yeah.
I think
Hagel too.
I think Hagel's going to get a lot of assists and a lot more goals this season.
Does he break 100?
I think he does. I think he might. I think he might be dishing them to Kucherov and dishing them to Point. I think that's going to be where Hagel gets it. I think he gets more assists than Cooch this year.
All right, 3 more easy ones, and then we're going to wrap this up. And by the way, if you did not, now is the time to add in the comment section, #game1, all spelled out, no numbers in there. Because we're going to do a drawing here for Cigar City gift certificate as soon as we finish these 3 questions. I like this one. This is always a fun one. Which bottom 6 forward or defenseman emerges as a key player for the team? Hands down, this was Nick Perbix last season.
Mm-hmm.
And did we guess that at all? No, we didn't guess that at all last season. Thomas, you picked Belly to emerge as a key player. You missed on that one. All right, what do you guys think? Is there anyone in that bottom 6 or on defense? And in defense, you can't say Hedman or Sergachev because they're top tier players.
Right.
But does anyone else make that jump to be a real key player on the team?
I think Glendening.
You always pick the 4th line center, don't you? We'll take it.
I don't have an answer for this one because I don't know the new people that well yet. So I'll have to watch a lot more games before I can make that decision. So you can scratch through me on that one.
There's a lot of change. Why don't we give you Mikey Asimont?
Okay, I'll take him.
That counts.
Asimont.
We'll put you down for Asimont. If I go Nick Paul, is that too much of a top 6 pick?
No, because I don't know if he doesn't play those top line numbers, he's gonna drown again. I see people saying Dahan, I see people saying Paul, I see Perbix, Radish. I almost picked Radish as my sleeper this season, but I don't know. I just haven't really seen too much of him in this preseason.
Yeah, I forgot about him. He did good in spurts when we had him before.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Other than the Lightning, which Eastern Conference team will be most dominant? So this you can take into account the Penguins, the Capitals. Doesn't have to be just in our division, but who's going to be the best team? I'll start because I really like what the New Jersey Devils have done.
Yeah.
And I think their young talent combined with some of the other players like Andre Palat that they've picked up over the last couple of seasons is going to start to pay off. So put me down for the New Jersey Devils.
They did really good in the playoffs too. So
surprisingly,
until they stopped winning.
Isn't that how it goes for every team?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Detroit. I was torn between Detroit and Pittsburgh, but I'm gonna say Detroit. I think Detroit's gonna really improve this year.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Buffalo.
Buffalo. All right.
Buffalo.
For no reason either. I just picked the team.
No, there is a reason. His name's Tage Thompson because he likes it up against the Lightning.
He's good. Yeah, he
does. The Lightning.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a front row seat for his hat trick at Amalie, thanks to Steve. Yeah, it was a good game.
Ooh, we were sitting next to each other. Me and Shooter were at that game together.
That is the one we went to together. All right, let's wrap it up here with one last question. This one's kind of a joke question because we started this podcast back in 2020,
right?
When this was a serious conversation. But the final question every year is always, does John Cooper get fired this season?
No.
Never ever.
You know, it's funny is because you sent these questions to us just to get a little prepared. You sent it to me, and I sent it to Sonya just to get her a little prepared. And her only response back was that last question. And I was like, I know, but it's every year. There's always that. Is Cooper getting fired? Is Cooper still here? There's no chance on God's green earth that Cooper is gone this season. I think he is secured until at least mid next season. Even if they shit the bed.
You're giving him a pretty short leash.
Well, I think if they end up shitting the bed this year, then he has the first part of next season to right the ship. And if not, then they'll be like, okay, this system's now too old. So let's get something fresh. But I think there's no chance he doesn't end this year with the Tampa Bay Lightning.
I don't see it that way at all. I think that Coop is like our golden child. You know, even though there's times we have not won, but that doesn't mean that he didn't coach his butt off, you know, whatever. I think we just had a lot of seasons where they just couldn't get it together, you know, whatever. And I know it all goes on to the coach. Leadership is the reason and all of that stuff. But sometimes you just have, personality, differences and issues, and it's not gelling on the ice. But I never think of it as his fault, whatever, because he does what he can, what he can do. I feel like Coop will be there until he retires, until he's ready to hang up his hat. I really do.
I would love that, but I don't know. You think first round exit this last year. If the team ends up crap in the bed this year, and say we finish it, not even making the playoffs, or another first round exit, then the beginning of the next year we start doing that again. It could be the same thing that happened when Coop got the job, where we end up making that mid-season replacement. And I love Coop. I want him to retire here. I want him to get 4 more championships here. I think the players respond well to him. Yeah. If Cooch didn't like him, if Stammer didn't like him, if any of those top-tier headmen didn't like him, didn't respect him, didn't like his system, he wouldn't have a job. You see it in so many different NHL teams and all sports teams, period. If your star players don't like the coach is gone. So they obviously buy into his system. They believe in Coop. It's just, will there be a point where they stop believing in him?
Yeah, he's got some time.
Yeah.
A lot of people forget, but before 2020, he was on the hot seat.
Yep.
When the team couldn't get it done, felt like they needed somebody else to come in and get past that hump of the Eastern Conference Final. And I remember making a video, the Ogrinchkin with Ovechkin, and there's a scene in that where everyone's at Amalie Arena on Thunder Alley waving their Fire Coop signs up in the air. But that was before we won 2 Stanley Cups and went to 3 finals.
Well, remember, before the bubble took place, it wasn't looking good. Before the NHL shut down, it wasn't looking so bleak. We had tons of injuries. It wasn't looking good for the Lightning. And that's why a lot of people were like, oh, the COVID Cup, because we ended up getting into that bubble and we ended up winning it all. But if you remember, right before the hockey season shut down, the Lightning were kind of on a little losing streak there. So, sad to say, at the right time for us.
That's their time of year when they're like, it's March. Let's just, have a friendly summer or, spring skate around.
Have some highlights. Have some highlights.
Right there, folks. Hey, if you just got here, this is your last chance. #Game1, all spelled out. And we've got a gift card to Cigar City on Spruce Street, not at the stadium. Get yourself a High Life. Did you know that High Life is the official craft brew of the Tampa Bay Lightning? So, and what that means is if I see you at a game this season drinking a High Life, I might have a gift for you. So, drink your High Lives. Drink your High Lives.
And in case you didn't know, World of Beer is no longer there. And Cigar City has now taken over World of Beer down on the 100 level. So before we go, Sonya, what is your opening day? What's your day going to look like on Tuesday?
Jesus. It's going to be so crazy. We feel like, Jimmy and I feel like that's going to probably be a 12-hour day for us because, they're shutting the street down at 1.
Mm-hmm.
So having said that, we got to get there early enough to get good, even though sometimes they give us a parking pass. It still depends on how many people are in that area, whether or not we can still get in the parking garage. So we got to get there quick enough or early enough to get good parking and just media. The first day is media stupid. And like they do some early morning stuff because Greg and I are always talking, are they going to do, because there's one year, I think that was for Stanley Cup. We had media at 6:00 in the morning. I wanted to fight people. I'm like, what? And so then I went home and I slept for a few hours and then I came back. But that was also ridiculous too, because I was like, they gotta put that together where it's closer to, the time that we're normally getting there. Because we get there, we have run through sound check at like 5:00. So we're there normally about 4, so we can mull around a little bit. I do so I can get inside and.
Yeah, but now a 5:30 game. When's your soundtrack going to be next?
I know, so it pushes it back. That's what I mean. That's for a 7:00 start. So yeah, it's usually 2-3 hours ahead. So that's why I said I'll probably be there starting probably about 11.
Me too. My plan is to be down there about 10:30 in the morning, maybe 10:30.
And then we want to stay to the concerts at the end, the concert at the end. So, as long as I see Big Boy earlier, because the bad part also was like when they did the other concerts last year or the year before last year, whenever they're always at the time that we're doing sound check. And that would always piss me off. I'm like, we'll never get to see anybody outside, So the Gravy Train dude, when he came, the good thing is I was walking down the hallway. I just come out of the bathroom and he was like right there and he was like, hey. And I was like, hey. And we did a high five. We did a high five in the hallway, and he walked past, and I walked past. But yeah, so we never get to see those guys. So I'm happy that they're doing it earlier. So hopefully I get to see Big Boy.
Yeah, I just want to run down the day of events. It's 1 p.m. Everything's going to open up out on Thunder Alley. That's when they shut down the roads. Thunder Alley is officially open at 1 p.m. 2:30, the player blue carpet walk. Will you be walking that?
They hadn't asked me to.
No. They will be doing the player blue carpet walk at 2:30. 3:15, Big Boy goes on stage. 4 o'clock, doors open. 5:30 is puck drop. They also will have a watch party on Ford Thunder Alley and also all down Water Street. They're going to have remote people all down Water Street throwing different watch parties. So if you can't get on Thunder Alley, because I have a feeling it's going to be packed, you can still go. They're going to have watch parties set up all down Water Street. And then there is a post-game celebration, a concert, and they're also going to have a celebration inside the Cigar City tap room there. So that is right now the list of things. I can tell you some STMs, and if you're in the chat and know who this is, I've been asked, please do not say, but some STMs have been invited. They are doing a season kickoff live taping of
Block party.
A block party. And so I was lucky enough to be able to get chosen to go to that. So they are doing that at 1:15 in the afternoon. So inside the arena. So that's going to be fun to be a part of. So it's a day full of festivities. In case you guys don't know, they are doing a scavenger hunt right now on the app. The first one is you just had to take a picture in some kind of lightning gear. Your second one is take a picture at a marathon. Third one, I think, is take a picture at the pep rally that they're having at Sparkman's Wharf this weekend, this Sunday. At Sparkman's Wharf. They're going to have all kinds of things there, giveaways. They're going to have the Blue Crew there. Greg Wolf's going to be there. GJ Chisholm's going to be there. It's going to be a nice, fun time. They're going to give away the magnets. They have what was the other thing that they're giving away?
A horn, some kind of a horn.
Yeah. Let's see here. Pep rally presented by Florida Blue on Sunday. Sparkman's Wharf. Appearance by Phil Esposito, Dave Randolph, Brian Eggblom, Thunderbug, Blue Crew. 2024 season schedule magnets and megaphones. Yeah, and enter to wear prizes as you gear up for the start. That starts at 11 a.m. at Sparkman's Wharf. I can tell you, Sparkman is a small area. So get there early. You're going to hear tons of complaining about people weren't able to get table, people weren't able to sit here, people ain't able. Get there early, people. It fills up, and it's open to the public anyway.
Right.
So not only are you going to be dealing with that, you're going to be dealing with people that are going to be there normally on a Sunday. So make sure you get out there early. Go support. I unfortunately have to be at work, so I will not be there. But go out, support the team. You know, if I could be there, I'd be there to support them. But get out there and support the team.
There you go. Pep rally. Hey, let's give away a gift card.
Let's do it.
And then let's get the heck out of here. Let's see who our winner is. The only one that cannot win is Shooter in the Stash. Almost.
Kathy! Yay!
That is our winner. Kathy, if you can hit us up, or we'll try to track you down and get you that gift card. Congratulations.
Awesome.
And again, remember, we're going to have some stuff to give away all season long from our friends at Cigar City and High Life. So stay tuned. It's going to be a fun season. Sonya, thank you so much for kicking off the season with us. We can't wait for you to kick it off.
Absolutely.
On Tuesday night. Anything else you'd like to tell the people before we sign off here?
Yes, I have a new grandson, and he is amazing. He was 9 pounds and 1 ounce.
Wow.
It was so hard. She sent me pictures of him during the off season, and it was so hard to not be like, "Oh, look at Grandma!" And she hasn't posted anything, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, he is so adorable!"
He is
And
so
she was gleaming from ear to ear in all these pictures.
That's my booger. He is amazing. Already 10 pounds. He was born 9'1". He's already 10 pounds, so he's eating good. He looks like a 3-month-old, literally. But there's height on both sides of the family. My son is 6'5". That's his dad, and then his mom is, taller than average. But her mother and aunt are over 6 foot. So I think he's going to be a big boy.
I think we got a future hockey player on our hands.
We'll see. Well, he might be another Victor Hedman, so.
Put them on skates. Don't waste any time.
Absolutely.
I got a team that he can join in 18 years. So.
Right. And then the last thing, if you haven't been down by the port to see the destroyer that's down there, it's USS Jack H. Lucas. He was a Medal of Honor. I think he was the youngest Medal of Honor winner. And the boat itself is amazing. The ship, I should say, is amazing. It's a destroyer, and it has like a pad where helicopters can land. It's just a big, beautiful weapon, actually. So if you get a chance to go down there and take the tour, go and do that. Don't do it tomorrow, because tomorrow is the ceremony for the commissioning of the ship itself, which I'll be singing for. But later on, I think they're still doing tours into, I think, Monday. I'm not sure exactly, but you might want to check your Tampa, news, the ear to the ground, to see when all that stops. But the tour was really good. We went on the tour today, and it was really nice. We had a good time.
There she is in front of it there.
That's a big, beautiful.
Posting pictures. It looks amazing.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was. My husband was just loving it.
What a great time to be hanging out in Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
We got hockey season just a couple days away. Mm-hmm. We've got festivities all weekend. And, the weather has started to get a little bit cooler outside. So, hey, this is our time of year, Tampa. Thomas, should I do it? Should we do the Tampa Bay Lightning fortune?
Oh, boy.
He's got a fortune cookie there. So both of us, before we went on air today, neither one of us had really eaten. Both of us got our phone delivered. Both of us got our food delivered like 10 minutes before the show started. So he ran and scarfed down some Chinese food. Mine is sitting right here. Mine's Domino's. Mine's just off camera right here. So literally, we are trying to stuff our face within 10 minutes of the show going live on air.
Oh, boy. So what's the fortune?
I just don't put numbers on the back because Powerball hasn't hit. So go ahead.
Don't forget, Monkey Cult Coffee. You can use Shooty10 for 10% off. If you use that code and order before the end of Tuesday, you get a free rum cake with your order. So that's a heck of a deal. And if you need tickets to the Lightning game or to any of the games, you can use our code WTTPod. That does help us out quite a bit. So thank you for using it. And that is only your first time purchasing on SeatGeek. So, load up another email for your second purchase.
Exactly.
All right. This isn't a bad one. I don't know if you can see that there. It says
your strong ethics will benefit you in the long run.
Okay.
I like it. I like it.
Samco's working out all summer. Well, all the boys are working out all summer. All right, we can.
Yeah, they've had strong work ethics this off season. I like it that we talked about that all year. How this year more they had been practicing and everything else, and had the longest off season they've had in quite a while. Mm-hmm. So, thank you, PF Chang's. I like to see you go bougie too on your Chinese. Just kind of walk across the street.
I'm not gonna lie about that. I do like some PF things.
I do a new China. I like new China. We have a new China down here. That's what I eat.
Yeah.
I'm not bougie at all.
No, exactly. Me and Sonya slumming it up while you getting the PF Chang's.
You know what? Hey, I didn't buy it, so I'm just. And I didn't get to eat it all. I didn't even get to eat half of it, so I gotta go. I'm starving right now.
Go eat your food, buddy.
Let's sign us off here. Sonya, thank you again for joining us. Hopefully, we'll have you back later in the season to talk about some wins. Please Thomas, I will see you next Wednesday right here. Not same day, different day, about the same time. And thanks for tuning in, everyone. Until next time, this has been We the Thunder. Don't forget to be the Thunder.